All-star lineup of WFLA personalities in person, broadcasting live from the club at the Tobacco Company restaurant this Tuesday night, January 26th, starting at 8 p.m.
I'm Dick Norman, and I'll be there.
I'm Mad Dog Bob Lassiter, and I can't wait.
Hi, I'm Ted Webb, and you know me, I wouldn't miss a good fight.
See Dick Norman, Bob Lassiter, Ted Webb in person as they take on the issues of the day in a verbal slugfest, a battle of wits, a clash of egos. It can be lethal. This isn't a spectator sport. You'll be invited to voice your opinions, argue, disagree, lay your cards on the table. It's all happening in the club at the Tobacco Company restaurant this Tuesday night, January 26th at 8 p.m. Make it an evening with a fabulous dinner before the show. The Tobacco Company restaurant, 4115 East Bush Boulevard, 1 block east of Busch Gardens. Never a cover, always plenty of free parking. You must be 21 to enter and appropriate dress, please.
Hours ago, by my asking you to remember Vietnam and all the Americans that died over there, all the Vietnamese that died over there, and senseless, stupid, unwinnable war, and how we may have been quite divided in this nation as to how it should have been fought and whether or not we should have even been there. There was one thing that we were pretty much all in agreement on, and that one thing was that we would never again fight an unwinnable war, that we would never again ask young men to go and give their lives in a futile war. We all agreed on that. And here it is a decade later, a little over a decade, and we are again fighting an unwinnable war. A futile, unwinnable war. Okay, this time we are doing it with surrogate soldiers. This time we're doing it with the Contras. But it's an American war no matter how you want to slice it. You pay for it financially. Your government recruited the Army. Your government trained the Army. Your government pays the Army. Your government directs the Army. And your government picks the Army's leaders. It's your war. It is an American war fought with surrogate soldiers. And so I asked, why is it that you forgot what you said a decade ago about fighting that unwinnable war? And I also asked, how many lives are you willing to spend to be a thorn in somebody's side? Because even your beloved leader, Ronald Wilson Reagan, admits that it's an unwinnable war. And so far we've had, in essence, 3 good reasons, supposedly, for being there. The first one is that, well, if we're not there, they're going to be in Texas any day now. And we all know how silly and stupid that is. The second reason was, well, if all of Central and South America goes communist, they won't pay back the loans that they owe to the American banks. These are the same guys that charge you 18%. So you would tell me that women, children, innocent men, cities, towns should be destroyed, lives destroyed, people killed because American bankers made some bad loans that they're having a tough time collecting on? Would you really have me believe that? Would you really have me sanction a war for debt collection? Then, of course, the third reason was to stop the Soviet expansion, which must be stopped. It is a danger to us. It is a threat to our security. To which I simply respond, well, you must be the only one that thinks that. You must be the only one who thinks that way. Your president obviously doesn't. Because in 7 years, to the day, in 7 years, all your president could do to thwart this direct threat to the security of the United States of America was to fund 12,000 teenagers in the mountains of Nicaragua. Nicaraguan teenagers, for the most part. And, jerks like Sam Hall. And if that's the best he can do to defend the security of the United States of America with a $300 billion military budget, the man's guilty of dereliction of duty. So he obviously doesn't take it very seriously. It's just kind of an adventure. Just kind of a neat thing to do. And I'm going to sit here until 4 o'clock. Until I get some of you good hawks out there to give me a number. I want to know, how many lives is this worth? How many lives? I want a number, damn it. I deserve one. Jack in Clearwater. Hi, Jack. You're on the air at WFLA.
We shouldn't even be there.
Thank you, Mick.
All right, take care.
Take care. I tell you what, Teddy, at this point, I'm really getting very bored with talking to sensible people. So I know that we've had a number of people on hold for quite some time, but I'm going to clear the board. I don't want to talk to sensible people anymore. And I'm serious. Clear the board. I only want to talk to the people who support this. And I don't care if I don't get another call until 4 o'clock. I only am interested in people who will give me a figure. How many lives this is worth to them. That's all I'm interested in. If I sit here with dead silence until 4 o'clock, that's the way it will be. And what we shall accomplish if we have to do that is to point out just how arrogant these people are. They don't even think they owe you an explanation. So I have asked patiently now for 2 hours and 19 minutes, and I'm now not patient. I want a number. I want to know how many human lives, how many teenage boys, how many middle-aged men, how many gray-haired grandmothers, how many 4-year-old children, how many pregnant women, how many villages, how many farms, how many dams, how many power stations to fight this unwinnable war. You know, don't call me up and tell me none. I'm tired. You know, I love you all. I love you dearly. I'm tired of talking to the liberals. I now want to hear from the hawks exclusively. And I want numbers. I want an actual head count from you. How many of those spics is this worth to you? The people, you know, the people, the cousins of the people that you ran away from in Miami. You know, you wouldn't live in Dade County with them. You ran up here, and these are their cousins. I want to know how many of these spics you're willing to waste down there that you won't even live in the same damned county with. It's 2 sending arms to the Contras. John in Land O'Lakes. Hi, John. You're on the air at WFLA.
It'll take as many lives as we need to gain control of the world and get a one-world government.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are bent on.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do it, and we will kill people,
Mm-hmm.
we will control the money supply,
Mm-hmm.
and we will take over industry until we achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like my old buddy, Baron Rothschild, said, permit me to control the money of a nation,
You don't sound that old, John.
and I care not who makes its laws.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
No, none whatsoever.
Senator there.
How many people, Don, do you want to waste to be a thorn in Ortega's side?
Oh, not one.
Well, Don, you're not listening to the show, you're not playing by the rules, and therefore you don't get to play, because the rules are, for the remainder of this program, hawks and hawks alone. I'm sick and tired of talking to people who pay me lip service. I'm not willing to waste one. But what in the hell have you done to stop it? I'm not impressed. Vic in Palm Harbor. Hi, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, Lassiter?
Yeah.
Yeah, 11,721 people.
Mm-hmm. Why that number?
20% of what we lost in Vietnam, and that ought to take care of everything over in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
And then we either win or get out.
Mm-hmm. So 11,721, and the instant you hit that number, you pull out, right, Vic?
Either win or get out.
Mm-hmm.
If we haven't won by then, get out. We don't belong there, do we?
Mm-hmm. Well, what are you there for, Vic?
To win.
To win what? Or hadn't you stopped to think about that?
Well, what are we over there trying to win? We're trying to win
It's not a
freedom,
football
freedom
game,
for
Vic.
for the Contras, for the Nicaraguan people. But if a country as big as this can't use 20% of what we used in Vietnam, we lost in Vietnam, but if we can't win with 20%...
Yeah, that's all that matters, winning and losing, right, Vic? And it's kind of like football, huh?
You got to keep score. That's for keeping score, 11,721.
Do you have a pool down there at the office on this one?
Pool?
Yeah.
No pool.
Oh, what the hell? You bet on football games. Why not bet on wars?
Why not? That'd be a good
right.
idea. Vegas will take the odds. They do everything but wrestling.
Maybe we could even, turn it into a lottery in the state of Florida.
That wouldn't be a bad deal. Make some money for the schools.
Mm-hmm.
But 11,721, win or lose, go home or stay there and, impose our will upon them.
Okay, Vic.
All right, buddy.
Hey,
Have a nice
sounds
day.
great, huh? Yeah, don't call me your buddy. Denise in St. Petersburg. How many, Denise?
Oh, one. You.
One me. Okay, Denise is, of course, one of our favorite callers, and Denise is probably the only woman in the entire market who has listened to every last second of this radio program, both on this station and the other. Denise would not miss one of these programs. There is absolutely not a call on the board at this time, which thrills me to no end. Normally, I get very, very distraught when the Van Ortner is not twinkling. But at this particular juncture in the game, it makes me as happy as I know how to be, because it shows you people up for precisely what you are, who support this inane, stupid policy. And it also demonstrates just how ashamed you are of supporting it. That you don't even have the guts to give me a number. Bill in Tampa, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You don't understand what's going on down there. And, it's like,
How many, Bill?
how many? As many as it takes,
As
son.
many as it takes, huh?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I'd love to see you up
As
front
many,
line, 'cause you would have
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would, Bill, because you're one of these people that doesn't have the courage of his convictions, would like other people to fight his fights for him. So there's no doubt in my mind that you'd love to see me down
I'll
there.
go again if necessary.
Uh-huh. That's why you want to see me up there, right? Because you want to go again.
Because you ain't
Bill,
do nothing.
Bill, what are you fighting for down there? Freedom. Oh, I see.
And it doesn't matter what the fight is. If it's a communist and capitalist, it's like dogs and cats. They just hate each other. You got to fight them when they're there.
Uh-huh.
But see, you have no guts, so you don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I mean, I bet you if you were in a bar and I would run up to your woman and spit in her face, you wouldn't do nothing about it.
Oh, you'll never know about that, Bill. Because I don't hang around in sleazy bars with my woman. Martin in Tampa, you're on the air at WFLA. Hello, Martin.
Oh, hey, what's up?
How many, Martin?
What?
How many?
How many what?
Let's go to Robert in Lutz. How many, Robert?
How many are you going to pay for?
How many do you want to waste down there?
As many as you'll foot the bill for. You're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Every central bank in the world pays for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the debt.
How many do you want to waste down there, Robert? I want a number. How many?
Thousands.
Thousands, huh?
Right.
Robert,
Yeah.
you a good Christian?
No. How could I be a Christian if I'm going to kill people?
Uh-huh. It's all a big game to you, isn't it, Robert? See, you don't really mean... You're trying to be cool and be on the radio and talk big. You see, we're talking about real human beings in this country, and it's all a game to you. You don't mean what you're saying for 1 second. You just want to be kind of a big man and have your voice on the radio, even though what we're talking about is real life. Even though as you and I are talking right now, there are people being killed because of your apathy and because of your incredibly stupid attitude. Not giving a damn that people are being killed in your name.
But the funny part is you're paying for it.
There's no funny part about it, Robert. Bob in St. Petersburg, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hey, Bob. If you want a number, I would have to go with that 11,721. Although I think if you really wanted a number, you could get your news department to call up the Pentagon. They probably have a strategic plan.
How many do you want to lose, Robert?
Exactly. Well, I go with that 11,721.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I helped elect this great president to office back in 1980, he promised to achieve three things for me in foreign policy. The first one was he was going to put Gaddafi back.
Do you support the policy down there, Bob?
Yes. The second one, he said he was.
Do you support the policy down there?
The
You
second
do.
thing he promised to do is support the Contras and to overthrow the Sandinista government. The third thing he promised to do is to get the Russians out of Afghanistan. He's achieved all three of these goals very successfully, and I wonder what your problem is with it.
Achieved all three of the goals very successfully?
Yes, Gaddafi is no longer a major force in terrorism. The Russians are talking about how they're going to get out of Afghanistan.
Bob,
The Sandinistas are begging to come to the peace table.
Bob, guess what? Your administration says that Gaddafi is a major force in terrorism. Secondly, Bob, the Russians are still in Afghanistan.
And they're begging to get out.
Thirdly, Bob,
And they're begging to
Bob, they don't have to beg anybody. They can walk out anytime they want to. And thirdly, Bob, the situation in Nicaragua is exactly the same as it was on January 21st, 1981.
Amazing,
Not a damn thing has changed, has it, Bob?
Amazing, Mr. Lassiter. You can't handle a conservative who can honestly tell you how it is.
Right.
Are the Sandinistas or are they not begging to come to the peace table?
No, I don't think they're begging to come to the peace table,
What was all
Bob.
the discussion this weekend? Oh, please, if you would just stop funding the Contras, we'll come over and talk. But please, please, please stop funding the Contras. What did the Russians say? Well, it's going to take us at least a year to get out of Afghanistan. If you quit funding the Afghanistans, we'll leave.
What? Well, I'll just finish the conversation without you, Bob, since you're a rude man. What do you expect to be accomplished when the Contras come to the peace table, Bob? Do you think that Daniel Ortega is going to quit? No. Do you think that the Sandinista army is going to disarm itself? No. Nothing's going to change, is it, Bob? Nothing has changed in the 7 years. No matter how much you want to say it has, it hasn't, Bob. Has it? Too bad that you can't deal with a liberal who knows the facts, Bob. Felicia?
Hi, I agree with Denise 100%. You jerk.
Right. Edmund in St. Petersburg, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yeah, hello, Bob. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
How many, Edmund?
How many?
Yeah.
As many as the Russians are willing to kill in Afghanistan. I think we should.
Of course, one has nothing whatsoever to do with the other, does it, Edmund?
Well, it does.
Oh, I see.
Really
Let me see if I understand this correctly. Let me see if I understand this now. You're kind of PO'd that the Russians are in Afghanistan, so therefore you want innocent Nicaraguans to die because you're PO'd at the Russians.
No, there's no way to think, Bob. I think we could save lives in both countries if we make a deal. They want to get out of there. We want to get out of here. And if we say, if you get out of there, we get out of here, we could save lives in both countries.
So, let me see if I can understand this. You just, kind of have an open checkbook on this, as many as it takes, huh?
Yeah, that's
right. What the hell? They're only spicks anyway, right, Edmund?
We'll put it in their court. We'll put the ball in their court.
Yeah, just, what the hell? They're just pawns.
You don't want to stop?
Kind of greasy. They talking that gibberish. What the hell, right, Edmund?
Right.
That's what I thought. Walt in Wikiwachi, you're on the air, WFLA. How many, Walt?
Hey, Bob, just one. His name is Ronnie Reagan.
You're not playing by the rules, Walt. Glad you're paid for that one. Jerry in Riverview, you're on the air, WFLA. Hello, Jerry.
Hello.
How many, Jerry?
200,000, including 50,000 pregnant women, 2 dams, 3 power plants, and maybe 1 fat person on a Nutrisystem's diet.
Kind of a big joke with you, isn't it, Jerry? They're not real people to you, are they, Jerry? Jerry hung up. They're not real people to any of you people, are they? Now does George not playing by the rules, he's listening to the radio. No, he'll catch on real soon. Well, George chickened out. It's not surprising. Most gutless wonders do. No, other people don't count, Steve. Other nations don't count. Only you and your nation count, Steve. Everybody else are scum, right, Steve?
You know what? If you want
everybody else is scum, right, Steve?
Can't have a conversation.
Everybody else is scum, right, Steve? Everybody else is scum, right, Steve?
Why don't you?
Everybody else is scum, right, Steve?
Not right at all.
Oh, it isn't right.
No.
I see. Only the Nicaraguans that are scum, Steve.
Are you gonna
only the Nicaraguans are scum, Steve?
You can't handle an argument.
Only the Nicaraguans are scum, Steve?
You can't.
Only the Nicaraguans are scum, Steve?
You're not going to get me to say that. You're saying that.
Oh, they're not scum, Steve? They're a sovereign nation, aren't they, Steve?
Bob, you said it.
They're a sovereign nation, aren't they, Steve?
Is it my turn now?
They're a sovereign nation, aren't they, Steve?
That's not what I was talking about.
They are a sovereign nation, aren't they, Steve?
Yes, they are.
Thank you, Steve. Ed in Dunedin, you're on the air. Ed?
Yeah,
how many, Ed?
The number?
Yeah, the number, right, Ed.
What number? I mean, the number's already died.
How many do you want, Ed?
Listen, the number...
How many more people do you want to die, Ed?
The number has already died.
How many more people do you want to die, Ed?
The number.
How many more people? Try to read my lips. How many more people do you want to die, Ed? Yeah, funny question, I know. How many, Ed? Give me a number. Just pick one out of the air. Come on, Ed. How many more people before you give up?
None.
I see. Ed's not playing by the rules either.
Well, about how many? Are you going to cut me off or are you going to listen?
How many, Gloria?
Well, I tell you about how many. If everyone out there that's
How many, Gloria?
Will you listen to me?
Answer my question, and I'll be delighted to listen to you.
Everyone that's listening out there
Uh-huh.
would stop
So you want
calling
everybody
you,
to
you'd be
listen
very
out
lonely.
there. No, I wouldn't be very lonely, Gloria. I'd be very popular.
Oh, I think it'd be great if nobody would call you.
Of course you do, Gloria. That's why you
But
called.
you won't have that on the radio, will you?
I won't have what on the radio? If nobody called me, I won't have it on the radio? No, I guess I wouldn't be able to put their calls on the radio, Gloria.
Yeah, I'd like for everybody to agree to do that.
I know, Gloria, because then you wouldn't have to listen.
That's exactly
That's right. There would be no chance under the sun, Gloria, that a little bit of enlightenment might fall into your ear.
Oh, you don't know about that. You're not qualified to
So how
say
many,
that.
Gloria?
Shoot.
How many do you want to waste, Gloria?
You.
Oh, just me. I see another one who just wants to waste somebody else for her cause.
Oh, bull.
Yeah. That's what you say, Gloria.
Can't talk to you anymore. It's not
Oh, Gloria, you couldn't talk to anybody because there ain't nothing between your ears, dearie. Ain't nothing between your ears whatsoever. These aren't real people, are they, Gloria? Nah. I mean, it's so far away. They speak gibberish and eat weird beans. Probably fart a lot, too, huh, Gloria? Yeah, what the hell? 99. I'll take Gloria's advice. We'll sit here in silence, demonstrating beyond the shadow of a doubt that you don't give a damned. They're not real people, are they? They don't matter to you. You're not in the least bit interested in the people of Nicaragua. Are you? Susie in Clearwater, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yeah, Bob?
Yeah, how many, Susie?
Listen, you know a lot of crap
How many,
flushed
Susie?
down the toilet, and you better hold on to the side.
How many, Susie?
Just one.
All of them, Susie?
No, just one.
Oh, I see.
Just one.
Right.
Just one.
Yeah, it's
Then
me,
you.
huh, Susie? Yeah, right. You want to kill me, don't you, Susie?
Just one.
You'd like to see me dead, wouldn't you, Susie?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, sure you would, Susie. You just told me so. You want to send me down there to die.
Oh, come on,
Well, that's what you just told me, Susie. Yeah. See, Susie doesn't like hearing things that she doesn't like, so people who say things that Susie doesn't like should die. Dennis in Tampa. Hi, you're on the air, WFL. Hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Oh, yeah, send your fat butt down there.
Uh-huh, another one, huh?
No, not another one, just a person.
Mm-hmm. Is that about it, Dennis?
Figure it out.
Figure it out, Dennis? How could I possibly figure out nothing? Jim in Tampa, you're on the air, WFLA.
Right now, though, here's...
Jim thinks he's really clever. Bert in Tampa, you're on the air, WFLA. Bert couldn't hold on. And David in St. Petersburg. Hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Is this me?
No, it's me.
Just curious, what's your exact
How many,
question?
David? You don't know the question?
Yes, ask me the question.
I have asked it enough, David. You can just answer it.
So, is it Nicaraguans that you're talking about, or Americans?
Doesn't make any difference, David. People are people, aren't they?
Well, let's just give a round figure of, how many ever Sandinistas there are.
Uh-huh. Well, unfortunately, other people died, too.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, other people, the Sandinistas tend to shoot back. People tend to get in the way, little things like that. So how many?
Well, let me ask you a question.
How many?
Let me ask you a question.
How many? And then you can ask me a question.
Okay, how many Sandinistas
How many people do you want dead over this unwinnable war before you give up?
How many ever Sandinistas there are?
How many people do you want dead in this? I want a number.
I have no idea.
Give me a number. Pull one out of the air. Just pull a number out of the air.
I'm guessing in the neighborhood of 10,000.
Okay, you'd like to see
That's probably the ruling
10,000
party.
people dead, okay?
Pardon?
You'd like to see 10,000 people dead.
That's fine if they're Sandinistas.
That's fine, right, of course.
So what's your point of this whole thing?
You'd miss it even if I tried to spell it out for you. Sally in St. Petersburg. How many, Sally?
20,000.
20,000. That's a nice number. Why'd you pick that number, Sally?
Well, sounds good.
Sounds good, huh?
Well, we are aborting babies every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're killing over here.
Mm-hmm.
We're killing innocent people over here.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you killed one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of nerve there preaching about the war.
Mm-hmm.
You killed your own baby.
Mm-hmm. No, I've never been pregnant, Sally.
No, but your wife did.
How do you know?
But you said so.
Oh. Hey, Sally, I'm a pretty despicable guy, right? Sally, I'm a pretty despicable guy, right? Right, Sally? Right, Sally, a pretty despicable guy? Ah, come on, Sally, you can answer. Cat got your tongue, Sally? I'll answer for you. Yeah, I'm a despicable guy. Gee, Sally, a despicable man might have lied to you. Do you believe everything you're told? Gary McHenry with a WFLA traffic report. Hi, Gary.
5, 3, 26. I'm sorry. Foreign car.
Mm-hmm.
Make our
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You understand, once they get that country, it's people like you that make our country weak. People like you that don't allow. If you're strong, you won't let little countries to take you over, little countries to screw it.
Jeff, do you have any fear that Nicaragua is going to take over the United States of America?
Nicaragua, it's the Soviet Union. Can't you see the spread? I mean, they have had Cuba for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Now, if they get it, they have a foothold in the southern.
They've had Cuba for 26 years. What has it done?
It hasn't done anything, but
I see. It's not a threat to your security, then.
What?
It's not a threat to the security of this nation.
Cuba alone, no, it isn't. But Cuba, Nicaragua.
Oh, Cuba
Central
and
America,
Nicaragua together are a threat to the security of the United States of
More of a
America.
threat than we have now.
Cuba, let me see if I have this correct now. Cuba and Nicaragua are a direct threat to the security of the United States.
they're not.
Oh, they're
People,
not. I see.
No, it's just the land.
So people should die because people should die because they're not a threat to the country.
People shouldn't die. The Soviets, they're trying to take it over, should die. They should be stopped. They should be killed, just like in any other war.
Uh-huh.
Don't you agree? Do you want Soviets?
Well, then why doesn't your president declare war? Why does he have relations with this country?
Because obviously he doesn't feel it's that much of a threat right now.
Oh, I see. So you're smarter. Then you are smarter than the president and the military officials of this country.
You can't
Well, of course. I beg your pardon. That's what you're telling me, because your president doesn't consider it a direct threat to the security of the nation, but you disagree with your president, so people should die. Many.
5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to die, Bob.
Mm-hmm. Some of us sooner than others, hopefully.
They'll knock 2 or 3 of the big guys off, and that's it.
Communism is terrible.
It is.
Oh, it's absolutely awful.
It is.
Has to be wiped off from the face of the earth.
It does. When you have...
That's why you're sitting in Tampa, Jose. I mean, here's another one of these great anti-communists sitting in Tampa wanting somebody else to go do them in.
No, I'll be... Hey, they'll give me the money. I'll be the first one to fight
yeah, of course. That's real easy to say, isn't it, Jose?
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure, if you really meant it, you'd find a way to get the money. You'd be down there fighting communism. Well, let's be realistic here, Jose. Mm-hmm. May I assume you're from Cuba?
Yes, I am.
Okay, there are something like 10, 12 million people in Cuba, right?
Yes.
Okay, if tomorrow morning 12 million Cubans got up from bed, went outside the front door, and said, no, we want a change, what would happen, Jose? If tomorrow morning 12 million Cubans got up and said, down with Fidel.
Well, first of all, I think 3/4 of them won't be standing around because nobody down there has no guns or anything to fight back.
So you're telling me that their brothers would just machine gun down the entire population?
Oh yeah.
But you're also telling me that communism is so awful, so terrible, that people must die to get rid of it. So that what you're really telling me, Jose, is that 8 million of the 12 million people down there don't find communism so bad to lose their lives over trying to get rid of.
Yes, it does, but you can't...
Well, no, Jose, you just told me that they won't do it because they'd get killed.
You cannot abolish a whole country trying to get rid of it.
Jose, you just told me that it is not so bad that they would risk their lives.
Okay.
That's what you just told me, Jose.
Okay. I'd just like to make one...
You also just told me that you're so diabolically opposed to it, you've run away to America and want me to go down there and clean it up for you.
No, I don't want nobody to do that. You just send the CIA in there just like Casey was going to do.
Well, wait a second. The CIA, you see, is made up of Americans. The CIA is made up of my brothers and my cousins. That's who the CIA is, Jose.
The CIA?
They're human beings.
I understand that.
They're Americans.
I understand that.
And you want Americans to go and fight your battle, Jose?
No, not all CIA is American.
Oh, really?
Oh, really, yes.
Uh-huh.
You think everybody that they have all over the world, CIA, is all Americans?
Yeah, they are, Jose.
They are? No, they're not. I hate to misinform you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jose. You have to be an American to be a federal government employee in the CIA. The CIA may hire some people from time to time in foreign lands, but the CIA is comprised of Americans, Jose.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of sending
red-blooded apple pie-loving Americans.
Instead of sending all this money down there, which, you know, everybody's coming out of every taxpayer's, you know, wallet, just have 2 or 3 people go down there.
Right, just 2 or 3 people wipe out a 160,000-man army. Yeah, right, Jose.
I'm just talking about the dictatorship itself.
No, Jose, you're just talking out of the side of your head without any sense coming out whatsoever. I wonder why. Let's go back and dwell for just a second on what I said to Jose. If 12 million Cubans got up tomorrow morning and said, down with Fidel, Fidel would be gone. Because even if Fidel has a 500,000-man army and he kills the other 11.5 million people, what does he have left? He has nothing left. And if communism is so bad, so intolerable, so impossible to live with, then it seems to me that the Cuban people should be willing to risk their lives for it. I mean, wouldn't you tell me that if you woke up tomorrow morning under a communist dictatorship in America, you'd fight to the death to get rid of it? With stones, sticks, anything you could get your hands on. You'd fight to the death to get rid of it, right? Ever dawn on you why they aren't? Did you ever think about it? For even a second? Then how in the hell can you wage a war with surrogate soldiers? Greg in St. Petersburg. Hi, Greg. You're on the...
I believe they'd send everything they had.
It would take about
and
2...
They would,
Greg, how many men would it take the Soviet Union to attack this country by land?
How many?
Yeah.
Well, I believe they'd send everything they had.
It would take about
and they would come through the land. There would be no nuclear...
Greg, it would take about 2 million men to be able to attack this country with any hope whatsoever of being successful. Greg, it would take probably the best part of 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, of absolute constant transportation and staging 1,300 miles away. I think we would know it was happening, Greg, and it would be the beginning of World War III, because...
No, because
I mean, Greg, even a bleeding heart, even a pussy-footed, bleeding heart liberal like Lassiter would be demanding, absolutely screaming for war to stop this imminent invasion that we're going to have, you know, a couple of years' notice of getting.
Let me say,
so, Greg, if the Soviet Union wanted to wage World War III, they don't have to put 2 million men in Nicaragua and march them 1,300 miles through South America.
They do that because they can't use their nuclear
Greg, you're
weapons.
an idiot.
They're afraid of our nuclear weapons,
Greg,
so they
you're
have
an
to come
idiot.
in through land.
Well, Greg, what in the hell do you think we would use to stop them?
I want everyone to realize why Bob is for this withdrawal, because you are in favor of communism. I bet you would like to see our nation under a communist dictatorship. I'm willing to bet that that's what you like. And that's why you want these troops to withdraw,
Greg,
so you can let them come into our country.
Greg,
once they're in Nicaragua, next up is Mexico, next up is Texas.
Greg,
yeah.
I'm a very high-paid man. I have brokerage accounts. I have gold wristwatches. I have a new car. I am not working for minimum wage or unemployed like you are, Greg. I'm the last guy in the world who wants communism. But I guess you never stop to think about that either, huh, Greg? 2 more hours yet to go. Don't venture very far. How many people?
I'm sure that
Chuck,
Ortega
Chuck,
would
how
pay you
many,
handsomely, you commie asshole.
How many, Chuck? Chuck didn't have a number on the top of his head. I probably needs 4 or 5 days to come up with one. About the same amount of time he needs to tie his shoes. Paul in Clearwater, you're on the air at WFLA. How many, Paul?
Yeah, let's go with 25, Bob. 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm talking to you. I can't believe the people that are calling into you. I mean, this country wasn't built on the sheep that seems to be calling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't...
That's right. This country was built by men and women who wanted other people to fight and die for them. That's right. That's right, Paul.
This country was built
That's
on the...
right.
Bob, there's no way you can think... I mean,
what the hell, they're only,
we went through it. We were supported from France with arms, and we have a free country now. You know, Bob, where's it stop? What border? Where do we stop at? Do we stop at, well, we'll say, what, a mile off the California coast, and then maybe...
So you consider this a pretty serious threat, huh, to our security?
Well, Bob, of course, it's not a threat right now, but where does it stop? You tell me.
Oh, it's not a threat right now. I see. So people should die even though it's not a threat.
Well, Bob, perhaps...
People that have nothing whatsoever to do with any of this should die.
Cancer is not a threat until it infects the whole body,
Paul,
right?
4-year-old girls are not a cancer.
Bob, wait a second. You asked
Pregnant women are not a cancer. Old men are not a cancer. They're human beings, Paul.
I know, but Bob, we've got to think about the organism as a whole.
Oh, I see. Just because they happen to be in the way.
Well, it's not. It happens to be in the way. Where does it stop, Bob? Look at the Vietnam.
Well, wait a second, Paul. You told me it's not a threat, so what are you worried about it stopping for?
What are you talking about? Cancer isn't a threat until it gets out of control.
Well, Paul, you just told me it's not a threat now.
It is a threat.
Oh, it is a threat.
It's not a threat.
I see. You're smarter. You are smarter than the President of the United States.
It's a threat to the free world as a whole, Bob.
So you're smarter than the President of the United States because he obviously doesn't see it that way, Paul.
I IQ, you're right. I agree with you.
So you see, he doesn't see it as a threat to the security of the free world, Paul.
I don't see it as an immediate threat, Bob, but I can see, look at, and you didn't
mean it might be a threat.
Looking at things the way you did. You didn't start yesterday and say, well, I'm going to start off doing this, but as long as I'll never advance any further. Bob,
so it might be a threat.
Somewhere, and they're getting a foothold in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
You know the policy of fear of influence.
Paul, so what?
So what? What do you mean, so what?
Just what I said. So
I'm
what?
asking you now.
What damage is it going to do to you, Paul?
To me personally?
Yeah.
It's going to cost me higher interest rates, inflation.
Oh,
right. We import quite a bit of beef and vegetables and produce. I mean, from Central America.
So I see. So we should wage war to keep your interest rates low.
I think it's more important than it is you said you wanted a number.
Yeah, gooks in South America should be blown away so that you don't have to pay higher interest.
Not all of South America. I believe that, like I said, there's policies. It was spheres of influence, and you can understand that. I think you don't see the United States.
Well, hell, you're already willing to kill people in Venezuela, which doesn't really have much of a problem, just so you can get your beef.
No, not in Venezuela. I'm talking about we get quite a bit of beef from Central America. And I myself, being a restaurant owner, I can understand this because I've seen the prices escalate 15, 20 cents per pound in just the last 6-8 months.
Holy cow.
Right.
So to speak.
Maybe it's not a holy cow, Bob, but I mean...
No, expensive cow.
You want to talk... I agree that it's not an immediate threat, but in the scheme of things, it is a threat. We can't...
Right. Hey, you might have to pay more for your beef. That's a hell of a threat.
Well, we've got to stop them somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, my God, you don't want them raising the price of beef.
Bob, listen, you eat beef too, but like you said, you're a wealthy man. Some of us working people that work out, we do think about the prices.
Because you're sitting on your damn tush. And every now and then, in between a swig of Perrier and a chomp on the old block of brie, when your liberal hero Lassiter gets on the radio and talks about it, every now and then you get really active and you pick up the phone and you call and say, "Oh, Bob, you're so right. This is absolutely terrible. This is awful. This should stop immediately. Oh, excuse me, I think the brie salesman is at the door. I have to run." See, I want you to listen to this real close, and I hope it keeps you awake tonight, because it ought to keep you awake tonight. See, most of these bozos that have been on since 2:30, they don't mean what they're saying. They don't mean what they're saying. Nah. They're just trying to be big guys. The reason they don't mean what they would mean what they were saying if they had thought about it, you see, because that's really what they'd like to see happen, just blow people away. It's fun. You can sit at home and watch it at night while you're swizzling your beer in front of the tube. You know, if there's not a wrestling match on that night, then you can watch the film footage on the news from the war zone, and it's almost as entertaining. And I want you to listen real close to what people say and how people think. And then the next time you're too damned busy, you know, to borrow Arlo's words again, you know, to stop war and killing babies, the next time you're too damn busy to do that, I want you to think about this afternoon. I want you to think that your silence allows people to say things like, every damn one of them until we fly the flag there. I want you to think that your apathy, I want you to remember that your silence permits this attitude to not only exist, I mean, after all, hey, this is America, you're allowed to be stupid here, to not only exist, but to actually be the policy of the nation. I want you to think about that. And I want you to remember it. I know you're not going to do a damn thing about it. I just want you to feel bad. Tom and Lutz, are you ready to apologize, Tom?
I wouldn't apologize to you.
Well, then you're not on the air. Tom, you see, made some accusations against me, and he was told that he will never get on the air again unless he either apologizes or proves them. And I offered him $1 million in Sconnick's money if he could prove them. He has done neither, so Tom's word just doesn't get heard anymore. For WFLA.
Is this Bob?
Yeah, it is.
I'd like to know who this 4F'er is that sits up there and tries to tell everybody everything he thinks he knows and all.
No, I was 1Y, Betty.
Where do you get the idea that you know it all?
Betty, I was 1Y.
You're just
so how many people? How many people would you like to waste, Betty?
You're so smart. If you get that frog out of your throat, maybe people could talk to you decently.
Betty, I don't have a frog in my throat. I have a marvelous voice that sends people just insane with ecstasy.
Why don't you wake up and get you a real job?
How many, Betty? Gee, Betty listens to a man that doesn't have a real job. I guess Betty is an idiot then.
Hello?
Yes, Lisa.
Mr. Lassiter?
Yeah.
You are a schmuck.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there goes somebody's granny. They're only Spanish spics, right?
Where are you originally from?
None of your damn business, you disgusting pig.
Yes, the question, please.
How many? I know it's a tough one. Guess you forgot it between the time you dialed and now.
Yours, for one thing, you communist dictator of the airwaves.
All right. I see you're another one. You're another one who wants somebody else to die for your beliefs. So send Lassiter first. 990. Granny, I'm not the one living on a government subsidy. I think if anybody's close to communism, Granny, you'd be a hell of a lot closer than me.